guys, it's Grace with Grace Gets Gastric. Today is Tuesday, April 16th, 2019, and I'm here today for my 1 year, 15 week or 67 week post-op VSG update. To start off with stats again, my name is Grace. I am 5'8", 28 years old, and on January 2nd, 2018, I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy or VSG weight loss surgery. My highest weight ever recorded was 354 pounds in May of 2017, and I was required by my insurance to do a 6-month medically supervised weight loss diet. And over the course of that 6 months, I lost 35 pounds, so my starting weight day of surgery was 319 pounds. Last week, I came at you with a weight of 193.5, and this morning, after my trip to Chicago, I weighed in at 195.9. So that is a weekly gain of 2.4 pounds, a loss since surgery of 123.1 pounds, and a loss since my highest weight of 158.1 pounds. 2.4 pound gain in the week. I'm obviously not happy, particularly because I'm not unhappy. I don't love it, especially because I was already up from my lowest weight after my New Orleans trip, but I fully expected to be up after Chicago, and in fact, I'm actually down from the weight I was immediately after Chicago. So, though I am up 2.4 pounds from last week, I'm actually down 2.2 pounds since Sunday, which is what I weighed when the day after I got back from vacation. So I had actually gained more weight over this course of this week, and I'm already down a little bit, so I'm hopeful that I will continue to lose some of that post-vacation weight. So Chicago, I was in Chicago. If you watched my last week video, you'll know that. I was filming from my hotel. I really enjoyed myself. I had a lot of fun. I actually have a video coming out about my trip. Probably Friday. It's going to take me a bit to film. I have like over 2 hours of footage. It's going to be kind of like a everything I did and ate in Chicago video. So hopefully y'all will enjoy that. And I'm going to do like a little wrap up of the end of this I'll do a little wrap up at the end of kind of the weight and all that stuff. So keep an eye out for that. But I did have a lot of fun. Lots of NSVs. I think I did a decent job with eating. Obviously, there was a little bit of gaining, but when I'm literally eating every single meal out, got that sodium, and yeah, it's to be expected. So I'm okay with it, but I'm very happy to be back home. I do not have another trip planned until the end of May, so I have about a month and a half left, before then, to just get into my routine and not have that interrupted. I mean, obviously there'll be little interruptions. There are in life, but I am looking forward to being a little bit more in control of my eating and my exercising. I mean, I've done what I can to keep up with that stuff while traveling, but it's just hard when you're not at home on your regular schedule with the kitchen, with access to my regular gym, you know, that kind of thing. Anyways, yeah, so on track. I'm actually thinking I might try the egg fast next week. Mostly just because I think it sounds really interesting. I feel conflicted about it for me personally, because I definitely don't want to get into any kind of crash dieting, fad dieting. Like, that is something I absolutely want to move away from. And if I felt that that was the motivation for doing the egg fast, then I would not do it. But I do think for me, it's mostly just because I love eggs, and it kind of seems like a fun, interesting thing to try. And I do think it would be helpful coming off of 2 back-to-back trips where I was drinking, I was eating much higher carb and much higher sugar than I do in my normal life. That has certainly inspired cravings. I have found it a little bit more difficult coming back and just jumping right back into my regularly scheduled plan. I'm obviously not eating this, you know, as freely as I was on vacation, but I do find I've been struggling a little bit more with snacking, with grazing, with that kind of thing. And I think doing the egg fast would be like a fun experiment, a fun way to think about new egg recipes, and a good way to maybe provide a little bit of structure and maybe help reduce those cravings. And then I can kind of transition into doing sort of more of my whole foods approach that I did in March, that I think worked really well for me personally. So that's what I'm thinking. I think I might do the egg fast maybe next week. Maybe I'll film that if I decide to do it. I've been watching, a lot of people have been doing it, like Time to Shrink. Erica has been doing a lot of them lately, and she's one of the people who have made me really interested in just trying it out. Oh, and I wanted to say thank you guys to everyone who signed up for the achievement. I talked about that in my last video. I'll link it again below, but a lot of you guys signed up. I kept getting little emails saying someone had, used my code. So that was awesome. I'm glad that a lot of you guys found that information interesting, and I hope you guys are getting use out of the app, and yeah, that was cool. Let's see, I mean, not too much else, honestly. Chicago was sort of obviously the big thing that took up a lot of my time, and I'm going to do a separate vlog on that, so I don't want to blather on too much about it. I have a couple of topics I've been wanting to talk about, but I'm thinking I might just do like separate videos. I've been thinking a lot about body positivity and weight loss surgery and, body positivity after losing a lot of weight. And I've been talking about it a lot with some of the cool people that I've been meeting up with in the community. So I've been thinking I might do a video on that. And I've been talking a while about wanting to do a video on sort of dating and sexuality and all of that stuff. And it's something I've been thinking about increasingly. And it's a video I really want to do, and I think is good to do and good to talk about, but it's something that I'm realizing I have a lot of feelings about. Like, it's something how do I even explain it? Like, it would be a very vulnerable video, and I don't like being vulnerable, which is part, I think, of my issue with all of that stuff. I mean, and there's like a lot of layers, and it's also figuring out how I want to talk about things and what I want to talk about, and yeah, it's a very weird space, but I do have a lot of feels about it, and it seems like something that it's very relevant to this whole journey for me. As there is no way, it's so like dating and relationships and love and sexuality and all of that stuff, it's so inextricably linked and woven into my identity as a plus size person, as someone who's been obese their whole life, basically. There are parts of that, it's just, they're so woven together, it's hard for me to kind of pull apart and be like, okay, what is nature and what is nurture? And it's something I've just been really thinking about. I can tell it's been like sort of brewing for a while, and when you can just tell you're working through stuff, and it's not always like super conscious, but I can just tell like there's stuff I'm processing, and we've been talking a little bit about it in therapy, and it's been increasingly on my mind, I think, as I maybe work through other things that free up space, processing power, if you will, to kind of deal with why that, that's been a part of my life that I've really just ignored. And I'm starting to think, well, maybe I don't want to ignore it anymore, but that's also like a very scary thing. So I don't know. That's a video that I want to make as well, but it's so jumbled up. I feel like when I do make it, it's going to be like a 2-hour-long mess where I'm just like sitting in the corner, like talking to a therapist. But yeah, things are going well. I'm excited to get back into the 180s. I was there for half a second. I'd love to be there again. Oh, and the other thing is I'm thinking about doing the 75 hard. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Andy Frisella. He does the MFCEO podcast. He's a very interesting character, and does a lot of like motivational stuff, really. And he has this challenge called the 75 hard, which is you basically have these, I think it's like 5 tasks that you have to do every day for 75 straight days, no exceptions. And the idea is at the end of it, you will be just a better, stronger, more capable person. And I totally buy into it because it's hard. It's really hard. And you have to drink a gallon of water a day, 2 45-minute workouts a day, one of which has to be outside. You have to read 10 pages of a self-help or motivational entrepreneurial book every single day. You have to pick a diet and stick to it, no cheating at all. That one would be so hard for me. And take a progress photo every day. So the ones that would be really difficult. Oh, and no drinking as part of the diet thing. So it would be really, really difficult, but I think I kind of love the idea of it. The issue is figuring out when I would do it, because 75 days is complicated. I have a trip coming up in May where I'm going to be visiting friends. I'm going to be traveling on a plane and visiting friends across the country for about 4 or 5 days. I have a high school reunion in the middle of the summer that I feel like will be less fun if I'm not drinking. And I have a trip to Peru in the fall, which I flat out won't be able to do all those tasks while I'm on a 2-week vacation in South America. Like, that's just physically not going to be able to happen. Like, the traveling days alone are 24-hour days. There's just not going to be time for me to do a 45-minute workout outside when I'm on a plane for 24 hours. So that is out. But basically the other 275 chunks will either be over my trip to Pittsburgh or over my high school reunion. And the Pittsburgh trip, it's going to be really hard for me to stick on my diet, not have alcohol, and get 2 workouts in a day. And then over the high school reunion, same things, 2 workouts, no alcohol, sticking on my diet. Those are all going to be hard on either one. So I'm trying to figure out which will be the most doable. I'm actually talking to the friends that I'm going to be visiting in Pittsburgh. I'm talking to them this week, and I think I'm going to try to get an idea of what they're envisioning, because like if they're envisioning that they're going to take me to bars and all of that jazz, then yeah, I don't know. So yes, I'm thinking about it, but that's something that I'm contemplating doing, that I think would be really great to help me kind of push that last little bit, to kind of lose the last, well, now where I'm at right now, it's like 20 pounds, to really hit goal and start working towards plastics. Anyways, talked a lot about things I didn't mean to talk about, but I hope you guys are all doing really, really well. I am doing great. I am chugging along. If you guys are not already, please do subscribe. You can like the video, leave me a comment below, follow me on Instagram if you're not, and in the meantime, keep an eye out for the Chicago video, which will be coming out in a couple of days.